What's up YouTube, it's Heretic here, and welcome back. A brand new week, and last week we saw the release of the Keldeo vs Rayquaza Battle Arena deck, which is big news for one reason in particular, and that is Karen, the new promotional trainer card. And this is the savior to at least expanded format in terms of Night March, and she's pretty darn good in standard too. Karen, a very simple effect of forcing both players to shuffle all Pokemon in their discard pile back into their deck. So it is a Lysander's trump card, but only for Pokemon, which if you're keeping count for Night March and Vespiquen decks, is worse than trump card because they do not get their battle compressors back. And this also serves as a potential Sacred Ash replacement in decks like Greninja, Rayquaza, and anything else really that ran Sacred Ash or would have run it over Super Rod. You can absolutely see Karen becoming a one-of copy there, VS Seeker compatible, and all kinds of crazy stuff she can do. So, of course, we're taking this opportunity to showcase Karen as well as the rest of the deck that she is included in. So this is just going to be your basic Greninja Talonflame for the most part. We have a 4-4-4-3 Greninja BREAK line. Of course, Greninja BREAK with that giant water shuriken ability, allowing you to, once per turn, if he is active, discard a water energy to place 6 damage counters on one of your opponent's Pokemon. And then we have our 2 attacks to go from Shadow Stitching for 1 energy, dealing 40, and shutting down opponent's abilities during his or her next turn, and Moonlight Slash, which returns a water energy from Greninja to your hand as an option. If you return the energy, you go up to 80 damage. If not, Moonlight Slash sticks at its base of 60 damage. Also, packing a free retreat cost is Greninja, so a lot of things going for it once it comes into play. And then, of course, you play off of Frogadier's Water Duplicates attack, which allows it to pull all of your Frogadiers from the deck onto the bench for 1 water. So a lot of 1 energy attacks, and then we have 4 Talonflames just to increase the odds of starting with it, as you can start with it as your active Pokemon if you open with it in your hand, and then Arrow Blitz for 1 energy, dealing a low 40 damage, but also allowing you to search your deck for up to 2 cards, any 2 cards, and put them into your hand. Also packing a free retreat as well. So that's pretty much the lowdown there. And so we run, of course, 4 Dive Ball for compatibility with the Greninja line, because we're not really searching Talonflame. You open with him, and then after that he's just useless. But you want to have him as your opener. We also play 2 Level Ball. Can search Froakie and Frogadier in the early stages of the game. We also run an Ultra Ball. Can discard extra point copies of Talonflame, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, so that you don't end up having to end them back into the deck or anything. Just another way to search for Pokemon. And then we have 1 Super Rod still, because, you know, it's still an item card versus Karen being a supporter, and it's still pretty good to have that 1 copy, I've noticed in my testing. And then we have 4 Trainer Mail and 4 VS Seeker to round out our item cards. Supporters is where this deck gets interesting. Obviously, we have the standard 4 Sycamore. We also have a full 4 copies of N in here, and then a bunch of 1-ofs after that is where things get crazy. We have Ace Trainer. Since this deck, Greninja tends to fall behind by 1 or 2 prize cards early, we can capitalize on that with a 6-card draw shuffle, and we drop our opponent down to only 3 cards. Next we have Delinquent, which is used to win the Stadium War, of course, and then if you catch your opponent with 3 or less cards in hand, hallelujah, because then you drop them down to 0, and that's just, oh, that's wicked. Next we have Fisherman, which allows us to put 4 basic energy cards from our discard pile into our hand. We use those to easily fulfill our attack costs, or more likely use Greninja BREAK's giant water shuriken ability to spread even more damage onto the field. Of course, we have the 1 copy of Karen that I mentioned at the beginning. We have 1 Lysander to drag stuff up with a high retreat cost or something for an easy knockout. And lastly, 1 copy of Pokemon Ranger, and this is almost exclusively for the mirror match. Also useful against Glaceon EX, but we're really mainly targeting the mirror match with this card to get out of that Shadow Stitching war and use Giant Water Shuriken to lay down a whole bunch of damage. So that's the main reason we run the Ranger. And then we have 3 Rough Seas for damage healing. You could also play Silent Lab or Faded Town. Like, there's a lot of ways you can go stadium-wise right now with this deck. And then we have 8 basic water energy to round things out. So that is our Greninja list, and we're going to go ahead and get into a couple of games here and see if we can't take this thing to victory. Okay, so game 1, and we see Water, Fire, Colorless, Psychic, could be Rainbow Road, could be Volcanion, just straightforward. What it won't be is us going first. Okay, so we've got the Battle Arena Darkrai, that's so last year. Okay, we will not take them all again. We will lead off with Talonflame. That just sounds pretty good. So we're gonna get... we should get a first turn attack with it. He flips over a Flareon, so probably a Volcanion deck. We do see the Entei, and this is a slam dunk, really. So we see he plays Scorched Earth down, discards a Fire, draws 2. There we see a Volcanion. And the only thing better than a good matchup is a good matchup when you hit for weakness. So he whiffs a Max Elixir there. And let's see if he's got a supporter or something here. Yeah, just an Elixir and Fire in there right now. Okay, so we see an energy go on to the Entei, and he plays an Escape Rope, so he's going to switch out to the Entei. Not sure how much damage he's going to be able to lay down with that sucker. We do see a Sycamore, he discards an Energy Retrieval, gets a fresh hand of 7. Now if he gets Volcanion EXs up, he might be able to take out a Froakie here. We do see a Fighting Fury Belt, a Trainer's Mail, and so he's going to grab an E-Retrieval there. I think he has 1 energy in there so far. We see another Trainer's Mail, so it's like Welcome to Night March all over again. So he grabs a Scorched Earth this time, and he plays an Ultra Ball now, discarding the Scorched Earth and a Fire Energy. And he's gonna go grab Hoopa. Okay, so he can go and get another Volcanion here, and I'm guessing he goes for a Shaman EX. But that is 5 EX Pokemon on his bench. That's a lot. So we should be able to pick and choose our prizes pretty soundly, as long as we can get our setup going here. We see a Scoundrel Ring for exactly the 2 cards I mentioned, a Volcanion EX and a Shaman. So there is Volcanion. We'll see if he's got anything else to play. Looks like he doesn't, so he just goes ahead and goes into Shaman for a 3-card setup. And where we go from here? Max Elixir, okay. My goodness. Long first turns, yo. So the Flareon EX gets the energy. And then he just passes his turn, so we draw a Greninja Break. Not really what we want, so I'm gonna go ahead and pull... okay, it looks like we prized one of our Frogadiers. I'll go ahead and pull a Froakie from the deck. And I'm kind of tempted to go find a second one here. I think we're gonna actually go ahead and do that, because we can always... we can arrow blitz here to get the Frogadier. So we're gonna, just in the event of a Lysander, I'm going to do that. We're going to knock his Stadium out since he discarded a second one, and we're going to attach and do an Arrow Blitz here for 40 damage, and more importantly, we will get to grab any 2 cards from the deck to our hand. So we're just going to go grab a Frogadier and see if there's anything else we might want right now before we start going towards the future here. And... let's see, doesn't look like Lysander's in the deck. Looks like he's over in the prizes. So we're just going to go ahead and grab a Greninja. So we'll try to get into that Water Duplicates next turn. You see another energy come down onto Entei. One other play we may be able to make here pretty soon is to go in for a for the Ace Trainer, since we are going to give up probably a pair of knockouts here. We do see Steam Up, so he's now doing, let's see, 20, 40, 60, 70, 100. Another Steam Up will put him at 130, which will be a knockout on our Talonflame. So he will be able to take us out, and I think it was worth the risk, you know, of running that, of getting the Talonflame knocked out, just to make sure we have 2 Froakies to keep a Lysander play from setting us back an entire turn. So we yield 1 prize here, bring a Froakie up, and we can Water Duplicate now. So, and we draw the Ace Trainer too. That's actually pretty clutch. So I think we're gonna go ahead and actually just play that. We can put, well, you know what? No, I don't want to draw. I don't want to draw into that stuff right now. So we'll just duplicate, I think, for the time being. Get 2 more Frogadiers down onto the bench, and the next turn we'll be able to evolve into Greninja and then Ace. So we'll have a 6-card hand, and our opponent will be left with 3. He won't need to use Steam Up at all this turn. He'll just be able to knock us out, which is fine. So we'll be able to hopefully return the favor with Greninja next turn, which would also take 2 of his 3 energy cards off the board. Let's see, VS Seeker, he's got a Sycamore down there, and that's it. So we'll be behind by a couple prizes, but the way this matchup goes, we should be perfectly fine. You see a Floatstone go on to his Hoopa EX, and we'll see where it goes after that. I'm just going to go ahead and play a Sycamore, so Flareon, Baby Volcanion, VS Seeker. Okay. So you see a second energy go onto that Flareon EX. Another Floatstone, this time on a Volcanion. And we see a Super Rod here, so I'm guessing the Baby Volcanion and the Flareon, as well as maybe an energy here. Instead he puts 2 energies and Flareon back in the deck, so maybe he's got a Max Elixir. Wouldn't be too bad. It would actually be a pretty good play if you had a Max Elixir. Instead we just see a Combat Blaze, 90 damage, not a lot, but enough to knock us out, so we yield another prize card. But we will be able to Ace Trainer him all the way down to 3 cards here. And we're going to go ahead and play this T-Mail and see if we can't hit like a Dive Ball. It's not in the cards right now. Okay, so we'll just fail it. Can evolve into Greninja, and we will Ace Trainer. We get 6, he gets 3. And we do get our energy. We actually get a pair of them. So we have ourselves ready for that Greninja break next turn. And once again, we whiff the Dive Ball. Ugh. I'm going to go ahead and grab that Sycamore. And so we can issue a knockout here with Moonlight Slash. Or we could go... Oh. We want to go the slower route here maybe and try to set things up. I think I'm just going to go with a Shadow Stitch here. He's not doing enough to knock us out, and we take away his ability to Steam Up here, which is, I think, the big thing. So, I hope he doesn't have a Pokemon Ranger handy. We do see another Fighting Fury Belt, but we're banking on the fact that he can't get 2 energies onto that Flareon, so basically that he can't get a Max Elixir. He won't be able to use this thing's effect, but nonetheless he hits the Max Elixir, and our Greninja's probably going to bite the dust now because of it. So he's going to play a Professor's Letter here. Yep, he's going to grab 2 more, so he'll be able to retreat into Flareon and then just launch a massive knockout blow there. So Floatstone on the other Volcanion EX. And we're going to get wailed on by this Flareon. And I think one of the bigger problems following that up is the fact that we cannot turn around and OHKO it right back. He's going to put another energy, so he's doing 140 now. And we need to find an answer to this thing and fast. A Lysander maybe would have been good, but you've got 3 Floatstones sitting over here. And he can just pay this 2 retreat cost. And this might actually be our best target for a Lysander now. As he pays the 2 retreat, and out comes the Flareon with a Blaze Ball for 140. And ugh, that's not good. So now we really have to make a decision. We're going to go ahead and bring the Froakie up in this instance. Maybe we can bubble for a turn. And so we'll attach an energy. Go ahead and play another N. Try to get his hand size down. And oh, that did not go the way we wanted it to at all. Oh my goodness. That's not good. So we're going to bubble here. We do get the paralysis. So hopefully we can make something happen there. Oh my goodness. This is everything you do not want to see. Cannot get these break evolutions into play. And there's only so much the paralysis can do when we don't have a working hand here. Really needed to hit a Greninja. So he attaches a fire energy to his Shaman. And we see a Fighting Fury Belt go over there as well. And see if he does anything else. We do see a Versus Seeker here for a Professor Sycamore. So I don't have to feel too bad about ending him again next turn. Really just gotta hope he doesn't hit a switch here. We do see a Scorched Earth. And so he ends his turn. And there's the Ultra Ball, of course. Now we get it. So we can discard Talonflame in one of those Rough Seas to go find another Greninja and get that into play. And as much as we already have those Greninja breaks in hand, I don't want to leave him with a 6-card hand here, so we're going to try to take some options away. And so we don't draw terribly off that. We can get another Froakie into play, get an energy on this Greninja, and we will bubble again, and couldn't get it twice in a row. So we gotta hope he doesn't hit a Lysander here. So he plays a Giovanni instead, draws 2 cards. Now we're gonna get another end play here. We do see the Professor's Letter, so he's got to start charging something else up besides that Shaman, which apparently he's just gonna stick with the Shaman. And so we're gonna get another Blaze Ball here. He's gonna go down to 2 prize cards, which is pretty scary, but the benefit here we can get is if we can get a giant Water Shuriken going here, we should be in a decent spot. We've got 4 energies gone, 1 here, so 3 left in the deck. Go ahead and play this Trainer's Mail, and that's not going to help. I'm just going to play an N. Oh my goodness. What do you do with this? Oh, this is so many levels of gross. We can go ahead, I guess, and grab the Dive Ball. And we can play it and bring the Greninja Break out. And then I think we just retreat here, actually. Ugh. Yikes. Alright. So we have another Sacrificial Lamb in the active spot here. So we finally get that Greninja Break, and we do have the Fisherman for next turn. So we notice that only the Shaman has energy outside of the Flareon, which the Flareon can soak up an energy from the Shaman with its Flash Fire ability. So if he does hit the Lysander, then it's pretty much game over. So we're kind of counting on that not happening here. So instead he pays the retreat cost, and he's going to Sky Return. So he doesn't take the knockout, instead bounces the Shaman and brings out his Hoopa. So again, that puts us in an interesting situation, and I think we just end him down to 2 again here, since he does have Shaman on hand. Okay, so we do hit a Water Energy here, which we've got a couple of options to work with. And let's see. Could try to bubble him here. We could definitely heal 30 damage off of that Froakie. And we could bubble or we could retreat. I think I'm just going to go ahead and try to stun him for a turn here. Alright, that's successful. And we do have the VS Seeker once again. And only having used 1 VS Seeker since we played 3 ends hard copy-wise, but he does hit the Shaman. So he's going to get to draw up to 6 cards in his hand, so we're probably going to end him again on our turn. Not really looking forward to playing 3 Sycamores down at once, although the amount of cards left in deck, I don't think it would hurt us too badly. So he plays an energy on his Entei, and Lysander sure would have been a nice card to have. We would need an energy with it, though. So we draw the Fisherman instead. Tempting play for sure, but I think we really just want to take his options away right now. He can only draw out of these ends so much before he's eventually got to have no plays. Oh my goodness. I mean, we weren't going to hit a Frogadier anyway, but it would have been nice to draw into Karen. We do have the VS Seeker yet again, however. So we do have some options. And once again we will bubble, and once again it will not paralyze. So we're 2 for 4 on bubble this game. Middle of the road kind of stuff, about what you'd expect. And so he plays a Fisherman now. Grabs 4 fire energies back from the discard pile. Now he does have the Volcanions, he does have the Entei now, and he does have quite a handful of resources just in general. He's obviously got the ability to steam up a couple times here, because he's only doing 60 damage, so even with 2 steam ups he would only be hitting, or never mind, 50. Oh wow, okay, so yeah, he did need the 1 steam up there. Now we're going to end up ending him down to 1 here, and we actually draw the hard copy of N, so we can just do it again. And he's got a dead draw sooner or later. And I don't know if we have another Froakie available. Let's see, I don't think this one has a Froakie underneath it, so we actually should. Nope, it's in the prizes. RIP. Okay, so it looks like instead we're just going to have a Shadow Stitching here. And we do get the Froakie off the prizes, so that's at least something to be a little excited about. He's doing 120 right now, and he does not have access to abilities. And that's key. Because otherwise a Versus Seeker could turn into a whole bunch of extra damage real fast. Actually, let me look at that one more time. Let me see. He's got 2 Versus Seekers left, so instead we just take 120 damage to the face. And we will get the knockout here. So we're going to go ahead and get that Froakie down, and we're going to Fisherman here for 4 of these energies. And he's got 210, so we can drop him to 100, and yeah, we can drop him to 150, and then we can knock him out by bouncing our energy. We do have to break our ability lock here, which is a little scary, but we really just need this thing to go away right now. So Flareon goes down. So I guess the concern at this point would be a baby Volcanion coming down with perhaps a Versus Seeker for a Fisherman. Because that would give him just enough damage to knock us out. And instead he just forfeits the game, so we were down pretty significantly there. 5 prizes to 1, and his energy is just wiped off the board with that Flareon EX and the Entei, and so even with a pair of Volcanions, the N finally sticks after I don't know how many tries, and we would have been digging for Karen any moment then. So Greninja comes through in a very positive matchup in a very scary situation. So we are going to go ahead and get one more game in now. Okay, so we're going against Math is Max. Okay. And another water deck. Looks like water and metal, so... Oh, Kyogre. Interesting. Wonder if he's actually playing that, or if maybe it's just another Greninja deck. So we're going to draw it anyway. We do get the Talonflame start again. Looks like our opponent got a mulligan, so we can just lead off with Talonflame here. And what do we got? Okay, so we are playing a mirror. Bursting Balloons. Alright, well, this is why we run the Pokemon Ranger now. This is exactly why we run the Ranger. Absolutely take an extra card, and it is not one I want in my hand. Oh, and he's running the Octillery. Okay, so we're going to see a Level Ball here. Just going to go grab a Froakie, and we're going to get to use Aero Blitz here, it looks like, right off the bat. See another Level Ball, so he's going to go grab another Froakie. And he just passes his turn like that. So we draw into the Greninja Break. We're going to go ahead here, pull a Froakie, and oh my goodness, 2 Frogadiers in the deck only. We do have 1 in hand, so there's only 1 in the prize cards. So we're going to go ahead and do that. We're going to put this into play, and I think we'll just sit on this, to be honest. Just try to go find some things that might be good to have down the line. Let's see, where's the Ranger, first of all? We want to make sure we didn't prize that. We do want another energy here. let's see, do we have a full selection of VS Seekers available in deck? We do. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is go ahead and throw out the Ranger here pretty soon. We're going to, excuse me, we're going to search for that. And that'll, at least when we, you know, hopefully play this Professor Sycamore next turn, or the turn after, hopefully we'll be able to make something happen then. As this is going to be really a war of attrition here. And so we see him put not one but two Frogadiers down via evolution. We see a dive ball here. So we'll see if he goes for the Octillery. Yep, that'll be it. And so he'll be able to draw his hand up. He'll be able to get at least 3 cards off of this. So we'll see Abyssal Hand for 3. And he attaches an energy to the Octillery here. That attack, I have to actually check and see what that does. We see a Fated Town come out, and I'm okay with that. I really don't have a problem with Fated Town being in play. Really not wanting to put Rough Seas down. So instead we're just going to do that, and I think we're just going to duplicate here. His board isn't exactly promising at the moment, mainly due to Octillery being stuck in the active spot, I think. He does have a pair of Frogadiers on his bench, but the fact that he was unable to use water duplicates last turn is a pretty big deal. So we see another dive ball. He goes and grabs a Greninja here, and that's going to come into play. And you're going to see a 2-card Abyssal Hand. He's got to hit a supporter here sooner or later. So again, we see a pass. No supporter, no energy attachment. So we can play this Trainer's Mail now, and we're going to grab the Ace Trainer out of there, I think. And we can attach an energy over here, and we'll just Sycamore the rest of this away. Okay, so we do manage to draw into our Greninjas here, so we can put 1 down, go ahead and dive ball out into another one. And we can get our Shadow Stitching started here. So we do see an energy finally go onto that Greninja on his bench, but that's it. He passes his turn, so we can put the Greninja BREAK down. And we're going to get a chance to actually unleash some abilities here, which is pretty nice. It's kind of a rare luxury in this kind of a matchup. So we're going to Giant Water Shuriken onto this Greninja, and really looking at what else we can do here. I think in this situation probably wouldn't hurt to have another Froakie down in case we do draw the Frogadier off the prizes, and then I think we just play the Professor Sycamore here, because there's no sign that he's drawing anything useful at the moment. So we don't want to N and give him more options that he didn't already have, so instead we'll just Sycamore. We do get another Greninja, and we can Shadow Stitch again. So we get the knockout on Octillery for a single prize card. So we draw another Greninja, which of course isn't of too much use right now. But we got 60 damage laid down ahead of schedule onto that Greninja with Giant Water Shuriken, and he forfeits. And we have board presence by a mile right there. So we're going to go ahead and do one more with this thing and try to see if we can't make things work out again. Okay, so we see a Psychic type variant going on here. Okay, let's get going. We go first. Gengar sleeves, huh? Cool, cool. Talonflame, yo, active spot. We're going first, doesn't matter. Okay, let's see. Oh, it's been a minute since I've seen those sleeves. A little bit. Oh, the Garbodor. Ugh, gross. I don't like Garbodor. It does things that are not pleasant. Alright, so just attach to the Froakie and pass. And hopefully we just don't get bombarded by a turn 2 Garb. You see a Spirit Link on the Mewtwo. And, oh geez, Pokemon Ranger and VS Seeker hit the discard for Ultra Ball, and that goes and pulls Hoopa EX, which is going to pull 3 more EXs, and there's Floatstone already on the Trubbish. So, probably 2 Mewtwo's and a Shaman here would be my guess. And that's what we're going to get. Alright. So the whole board is just going to kind of piece itself together. Alright, so everything hits the bench. Shaman sets up for a 5-card draw. And so there's another Spirit Link, double colorless energy, and a Trainer's Mail for, let's see, looks like nothing. And there's a Sycamore, so discarding Versus Seeker and Skyla, so 2 VS Seekers already in the discard pile. Guess that's noteworthy. We see a failed Trainer's Mail. And passing of the turn. Alright, so we can level ball here, and once again we've prized a Frogadier. What else is new? Seems to be kind of the running deal that's been going on. So we're going to Lysander up this Hoopa. And duplicate. And hope that he does not have another Floatstone handy. Alright, so we see another energy onto that same Mewtwo. We see a Mega Evolution. And he plays an N, so we'll go from 4 cards up to 6. And there are 2 things we don't want him to hit here, a Floatstone and a Garbodor. So we see another Mega Evolution. And a pass of the turn, so he misses both. That's big. So we will put Greninja into play. Trainer's Mail for Dive Ball, which is going to get us another Greninja. Go ahead and bring a second one into play. And we can actually Lysander the Trubbish now and take a knockout on it, which is music to my ears. Oh, I like that. Get out here. Not about to let that thing stick around. And we'll actually get an energy on that as well, since we're going to bounce this one. And get out of here. You are not wanted present. So that actually worked out pretty well. We get Trubbish out before it can evolve into Garbodor, which is a pretty big deal, and we're also able to get an energy off of our board. So he can attach another one and still knock us out with this Mewtwo, but we've got a pretty hot start, at least getting rid of that Trubbish. Really the big threat, being able to shut us down, so of course he goes ahead and benches another one. And so we may just have to target down a second one here. We do see a double colorless on the other Mewtwo here. Interesting choice. And he's going to N us again. Okay. So maybe we hit a Versus Seeker, you know? Things can happen. Well, we hit the Trainer's Mail, so maybe we can hit it off that. I almost wonder at this point, if we don't hit it, if we actually try to go with the Talonflame here. I think it just depends on what we end up with next turn. So we see another Floatstone go on to Trubbish, so both times the Floatstone has been present, and we see an Ultra Ball here. And discards a Psychic Energy and a Shaman, so if he has a Mega Turbo, he'd be able to KO us still. We do see him search out the Garbodor. And there is the Mega Turbo. Alright. So now we'll see a 130 damage Psychic Infinity, enough to take Greninja off the board. And I have mixed feelings about playing Karen here, only because that Trubbish is down in the discard, but that may just be the best solution here. We do find a VS Seeker. So I think our plans just changed. It is gonna definitely suck to have to give up another Greninja to do it, but we cannot. I just don't want to let him lock our abilities like that. So we are once again going to retreat and actually do another. Okay, there we go. Go ahead and bring another Greninja into play here. And we're not going to attach energy this time, only because we may have to use Talonflame. So, I'm going to go ahead and Lysander once again. Actually, I think we're just going to go ahead and do that now that I look at it, because again, we're going to bounce this energy, so why not attach one? And once again, we are able to take Trubbish out before it can evolve. Now, of course, that Mewtwo can come out and just knock us right back into next week. And eventually, these knockouts are going to catch up with us. We do see Shrine of Memories come down. And another double colorless is put on the board. Also, Lysander is played, so he goes after the Talonflame here. The only thing that has the energy. But we do still have an energy in hand, and he leaves us with 2 Greninjas on the board. Which, I guess in the grand scheme of things, is probably not that great, but we do have the Delinquent that we can use to knock that Shrine out and force him to discard those other 2 cards. Okay, so last 2 cards are gone. And alrighty, we're just gonna Moonlight Slash here. Of course, since we didn't Shadow Stitch, watch a Shaman top deck happen. We get 80 damage out of this. He top decks a Sycamore. Oh, what else is new? You gotta be kidding me. Every time. At least I won't feel so bad about playing an end next turn. Maybe I can be a Luxac and hit another energy and a Greninja break off of it. Not that it really matters in the long run because he's got 2 more Mewtwo's ready. But we're gonna get another Greninja knocked out, so that's the second one now. For a moment I thought it was the third, but it's not. Okay, ugh, gross. Shuffle this back into our probably underwhelming 4-card hand, and oh my goodness, I can't believe it. Oh, Luxac City. Oh, wow. Alright, we're gonna get a knockout here. How do you like them apples? Not sure what it'll mean in the long run. We may just get return KO'd. But for now, we will Moonlight Slash our way into a KO. Cool beans. Wow. Sacky is Luxac. Goodness. Alright, so now he's got 70 damage right there, so he needs to hit. He needs to hit quite a bit here, actually. We do see another Mega come down. And so instead we just see a 70 damage Psychic Infinity. I guess that's not too surprising. So we will put a Froakie down. Alright. I suppose we can just kind of go like this. And you know what? I just want to take one of these out of the deck. And go ahead and attach and Sycamore. Not liking the way that played out. I guess we could try to get cute here. Kinda wish I wouldn't have attached that energy. Let's see, we could do 140. Nah. Giant Water Shuriken over here. And we'll just retreat. Really wish I wouldn't have put that energy there though, because if he's got Lysander, he's got KO. And then we're probably hurting a lot. So he does attach an energy. Plays a Parallel City, but it's not going to do much for him. And we should be able to get the game now here off of a Giant Water Shuriken onto that Shaman. If he had another basic, he could have paralleled it away, and that is something that we do have to take into account. Instead, we are just going to be able to Giant Water Shuriken right into that Shaman for the game. So, we go overcome Mega Mewtwo Garbodor by taking out both Trubbishes early on. Now, I realize in the course of 3 games, we never played the Karen. It's actually still sitting in our hand there at the end. But really just a card that I think we're looking at in this deck as well as tomorrow's deck, assuming the PTCGO maintenance does not keep us from being able to put anything together. So I do apologize if that happens and our video gets delayed a day. But for the most part, it looks pretty solid, and Greninja played pretty well there. So we overcome a bad matchup there at the end, and go through the chess match that is the mirror as well. So that is Greninja Talonflame, and I will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully. Cheers!